think that if we're going to open it up to the public, there's no way that we can open up to the public, go through all the screening, everything else we have to do, interviewing, and make an intelligent selection in 2 or 3 days. I mean, you got a holiday in here, everything else. It's strictly, completely out of the question. All you're going to do is muddy things up and hurt people's feelings because they put it in and they didn't get selected. Now why? And just whole can of worms that you don't need to start taking care of. So either you're going to put it out there for a period of time so it can go through the regular process, or you forget opening it up. If you're going to do it on a short time crunch, the only thing you can do is do it within the council and the people that have been hands-on and know exactly what these areas need immediate attention, and you don't have the neighbor across the fence telling some guy, hey, you need to fix this.
Member Walker?
This is what I was thinking about saying earlier. If we open it up and then end up selecting someone from the council, to the average person, it's going to look like, oh, they only open it up because they're going to pick that person anyway. People are very polarized right now. They're on one side or the other. If they know what's going on, a lot of people have chosen sides. So if we open it up and then select a council member, perception is it's the council picking somebody from themselves to just take over. So, not saying that.
It's one of my concerns.
That's my.
I don't know what's the right thing to do.
Sorry.
Do you have comments? No. Okay, the chair will recognize that.
I am in agreement. We have to hit the ground running and running fast. Opening up to the general public is a good idea, but we don't have that privilege of time to do it properly. We're going to be doing helter-skelter, and that's going to bring just as much criticism as if we didn't do it at all. And personally, I think we should hit the ground running. It's only a 2-year appointment, and then promote next election for people to participate in their city government. We have too many things to correct, we got too many positions to fill, we don't have the privilege of time.
Or a newbie. Councilmember Walker.
The other thing, and I don't know if the committee's looked at this, but the rumbling I've heard is that under state law, a special filing period is open and the mayor position would be up for election in November. And from what I understand or what I've heard, that has been changed under state law recently. So I just wanted to see if you could speak more intelligently than I can.
So I'm happy to forward you the email that I sent to Deanna at Pacifica, but I wanted to get, because I during my day job, I actually work a lot in the elections law, and I thought that this position would stand, but it turns out because we're a city and it's a nonpartisan position, that's not true. And to get to that, I talked to my own general counsel at my work, who does a lot of the same stuff too. I talked to MRSC, and I talked to the former Director of Elections for the Secretary of State's office and walked through the statutes. And I posed this question to Pacifica and laid out, I think there were 4 or 5 statutes that one of them is pretty clear on its own. The other ones, especially when you read them in sequence or in concert, there's no doubt that the person that council appoints as mayor will serve for the remainder of that term. And it all hinges on when City of Pacific elections normally are conducted. We don't conduct those normally in the even years. We conduct them in the odd years. And so because more than half of the term happened, and we already had, by the time, because the vacancy will have happened after filing, it's too late to hit this November. If the vacancy occurred prior to filing week for this year, then the appointee would stand this November. Since the vacancy occurred after the filing period for this November, the vacancy will, or the appointee will carry through the end of Si's term.
There's no special filing period.
No special filing period. The person we appoint to mayor will serve as mayor through December of 2014, 15, 14.
14 for
14.
the 15th, December
Yeah.
31st, 14. Next time we heard it.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
So now it sounds like we're back to the, like, is that something we move to a vote, but on how the process would, if we want to open it up or not open it up? I mean, if we move it to a vote on Monday night, then we've missed the opportunity for all the advertising. Or if we have a consensus at council tonight, whether, no, we pick from within and go from there. I don't know how we can do that. Councilmember Holton.
In light of the time constraints, I would be inclined to not open it to the public, select somebody from the council that can hit the ground running, as was previously said, and get on with rebuilding the city, rather than opening it up. And if we open it up to the public, it's going to take some time. We can't do that in 2 or 3 days.
What would it be? Councilmember McMahon.
I think I disagree. Well, I know I disagree. I'm just trying to say it. I think that the question of whether or not we open it up for members of the public besides just council is really a different. I think we can more accurately describe it in a different way. Are each of us willing to cast our vote for the appointee to somebody who's not a council member? I think there's very little danger if we handle this process right and we make that decision on Monday. There's very little danger, very little damage that we can open ourselves up to by keeping that option open of allowing members of the public to submit their name. Because at most, that's all that process guarantees, is the member of the public can submit their name. At worst, that we at least have to get the impression that we've read their application. For council members who don't think it's appropriate or in our best interest to appoint somebody who's not a city council member, then that's where your vote goes. You decide, if that's your line of thinking, then you just decide among the city council members who are interested. I have a hard time figuring out what we lose by keeping those options open.
Councilmember Walker.
It's just time, because choosing between 2 or 3 or 4 people on Tuesday or Wednesday night is much different than best case scenario 5. Worst case, I guess it'd be best case 10 or 15 or 20, depending on how many people apply. And to Clint's point, 2 days is not enough time. So now you're pushing it into 2 weeks that you're back, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. How long is this transition period going to last?
I think that all gets right back to that process that we decided on Monday night. Maybe we agree that, we by the time we finish or end for that night, the Tuesday meeting, that we have it narrowed down to 7. And, again, absent anything better or more effective, each council member gets one choice about who they want to add to the list, and people can pass if they want. And, if you only put one name in, the rest of us pass, then we're considering of a list of 1. We can make that pretty efficient and still have an application process where members of the public can at least be considered by council. But, if we goof it up, yeah, we can be here for weeks and never do it, and I'll recall myself from Mayor Pro Tem.
One time, I will recognize the chair will recognize one more time.
Okay. Not to be a pain, but are you willing to take the chance that a 3-day interview from 47 people isn't going to put into office another nightmare? Or would you rather take the nightmare that you're faced with, what's left from what's been in office, and fix it yourself because you know what you're doing, you know how the process works, you're familiar with all of it, as opposed to bringing me in and hoping that I have a clue. I'm just, that's it. I'm not running. I wouldn't take that job. But it's just amongst yourselves, you guys know what you're doing.
Councilman Steiger?
Well, just kind of short poll right now, sitting here and listening to the public and everything else, we got a representative here of 15 people, and what is their feeling? Should we open up to the public, or should we select within and try to get through this hurdle that we've got right now and get the city back on the even keel, so when the next election comes up, whoever's running for mayor or whatever has some kind of a sound basis, city, rather than a scrambled up mess that they have no idea what they're doing because they've never been involved in politics before, and they don't understand. And we got the same situations coming up, is that all this is probably not totally Cy Sun's fault, is that Cy Sun did not want to listen to help, and he didn't know what he was doing.
Yes.
So, he did not purposely try to undermine everything, I don't think, but it ended up being that way because he was too bullheaded to listen and take any suggestions and try to rectify the way he was doing things. So, my suggestion, I give up. We can talk about this till next week, and we're going to get no place.
Well, it's sounding like to me that maybe we go ahead and open it up. The worst case scenario is, I don't know, if we vote on it, I'm trying to get an understanding, do we vote on whether we would choose from the council or choose from the public on Monday, or we just open it up and then we just, I mean, do we vote on which way we want to do it on Monday?
People are free to submit their applications, but Monday night, we can discuss it as council. We have the ability to take public comment Monday night. If the discussion gets out there, people can come and kind of weigh in on what their preference is, and then council can vote either way. Yes, we'll consider the applications that have been submitted, and we'll continue to accept applications until noon tomorrow, or end of business tomorrow, or no, council's not going to accept external applications. We've decided that we're going to select from the current council members, and we'll select it tomorrow. We'll select tomorrow night.
Councilmember McMahon.
So if that's the plan, it still begs the question, do we call for applications between now and then, so that if council chooses to pick from applications from members of the public who aren't council members, we've got the best pool to choose from?
I would say that people can turn their applications in because specifics in the market for a new mayor, and then the decision will be made Monday night if that's the route we want to go.
So you think, no, we don't put the word out, we don't solicit it, we don't put it on the website, we don't put it on the reader board, we don't say, this is the form we want you to use, we just see what we get from... Well, I know, I'm asking you that.
I don't know how we do it.
Yeah, that's the question I'm trying to figure out, is do I work with Betty and put together an announcement and a process, or no?
I don't know what time. They got the 4th of July coming. People aren't going to work on Wednesday, or people aren't going to work on Friday.
And out of town.
I don't know what you're trying to do here. You're wearing it out. We're talking about something for an entire hour, and we're not accomplishing anything. It will not work to open it up to the public and have 1 or 2 days to try to scramble in a bunch of, the only thing you're going to do is offend a bunch of people because you're really not going to look at those people. You're just doing it now because you think maybe you should do it to make them kind of happy. But you're really, in your mind, you're not going to really look at those people. So, you can't really look at them, and do your job properly, because you don't know anything about what they know about political background, what they know about political government, and you just can't find enough out about somebody in 1 or 2 days. I mean, that's why you go with somebody for a year before you marry them, and you still get thrown out.
I know, and now it's like, I started something I shouldn't have, because I didn't want to make this an open discussion. So, council member,
So, Councilmember Steiger, I've been consistently asking, what does council want me to do? I'm not trying to, I've stated my opinion, I'm not trying to influence the process.
I understand that.
But you heard the questions that I asked Councilmember Steiger, or I'm sorry, Councilmember Walker. I'm trying to figure out, what does council want me to do? How can I best provide the option, if council wants the option? So
way that I can make my decision and opinion and feel that I've made the best one for the citizens and for the town of Pacific would be to make the decision within the council. At this point right now, I cannot really look at an outside person and only have 1 or 2 days to make my opinion and decision on that specific person. So this is the way I'm going to have to go. I might be offending other people, but I can't help that, because I've got to make the best decision for the city and get this government going in the right direction. And that's going to have to be within the council.
So based on my, trying to figure out a way that I can get a good feel of the council without trying to take action in the meeting, we can't take action. Based on my assessment, Councilmember Steiger, Councilmember Halsey, and Councilmember Walker don't think that we should put applications out, and that it's probably in the best interest of the city to select from among the council members. We don't know what Councilmember Jones thinks. And Councilmember Putnam, if I interpret it right, said the community involvement thing's great, but we don't have time for that. Does anybody disagree with what I've said so far?
I think we need to make time for community.
So, in light of the information that you're kind of an interested party to this, do you want to share an opinion?
well, I know when we first discussed it, and I voiced my opinion, and I felt that the citizens were expecting it to be somebody from the council, somebody that's been involved with the situation from the beginning, knows everything that's going on. I've been reluctant to voice my opinion because I am somebody seeking that, and I feel like it's a biased opinion, so that's why I've kind of kept it to myself. But I agree with Councilmember Steiger. If we had more time, if the city wasn't in a situation that we are in now, and had more time to open it up and get community involvement, I can see that. But we're in a situation, I think, that we've waited long enough. We've been in a situation, we don't even have financial statements. It is a lot, okay? We are in a situation that it needs to be taken care of, immediate action needs to be taken, and that, and putting it off, it's just going to hurt the city even more. We have council members that are interested, council members that are willing to step up to the plate and put things in place, get action moving, and start getting the city on the right track. My opinion, Councilmember Walker.
But what's the difference between having the mayor pro tem in control for a little bit longer? I mean, the risk, I think, that we're all assuming is there is not on the 9th. So if the mayor pro tem has things in place to get the financials ready to start filling positions, I just don't understand why that urgency comes in. I mean, he'll be gone for 2 weeks. So if we need to find another mayor pro tem, I mean, not that that's what I want to do, but I think just rushing into it, I struggle with that.
So if, and it sounds like, I mean, somebody's going to have to convince me now to go back the other way. I don't intend to put out a call for applications based on where it's clear council is feeling here. So we've still got 3 days then to go through that process. Maybe whether council schedules it now or members of the community to take it upon themselves to schedule it, or the interested council members take it upon themselves to put it together. If we meet Monday, I still think it's best for us to wait to start interviewing people until at least after the certification. If we meet Monday, continue the meeting till Tuesday. On Tuesday, we have interested council members, they get up, they get questioned by the other council members, and we get that first interview done, and then maybe, you know, like I said, maybe the interested council members take it upon themselves, members of the community to do it, or maybe council does it, and we have a special candidate forum, you know, to interview and have members of the public come on that Wednesday night and ask questions of the two council members, and invite the council members to present their, you know, 60-day plan or their, you know, 5-day plan, whatever it is that they want. Maybe if we limit the process to council members, then we've got at least a full another day in there. If we're still happy with the 11th for an appointment day, interview them on the 10th. Council gets to ask questions of the nominee, and then turn them over to the public on the 11th. And do we rent out the gym and come one, come all, get your piece of flesh, or find your hero, and then council votes on Thursday.
Oh, I'm sorry, Leanne, I've got to say,
I got a question I gotta ask.
One thing we have to keep in mind is whichever process we use to select the mayor, that person has to be eligible to hold public office. We know each one of us on the council are eligible to hold public office, but we have no way of determining whether somebody that sends in an application is eligible to hold public office, and 2 or 3 days is not enough time to ascertain that issue.
I gotta ask a question. I'm sorry.
I wanted to kind of finish this.
it will be finished. I'm leaving.
I'm done after this.
Me too.
The chair will entertain 2 more questions and no more questions from the audience.
Okay, you want to go first?
Don, go ahead.
I got a question. I've talked to many people in this past year. How many people do you feel will give you an application for mayor that's been to more than 2 council meetings this past year and a half, who doesn't get all their information from the next door neighbor, and who understands the facts? Now, I respect you very much as a person, but I'll be honest with you, I have never met anybody in my life that's so scared to make a decision.
Okay,
I'm sorry, that's just my opinion.
Okay, that's fine. It was supposed to be just a question.
No, but the question is, how many can we get this out?
My question, Leanne, is you retained the attorney. Is this a question that you could put to the attorney? What might she think be in the best interest of the city? I'm afraid of a newbie. I really am. I'd rather have somebody who's worn the shoes, who's read the notes, who knows what's going on and go boom and get on it, as opposed to having to take a week to talk to Massey to find out, okay, now you need how many police officers? And to talk to Betty and say, you need a new pencil? I mean, somebody who has a clue, not you.
Okay.
I've been here for 18
Thank
months
you,
listening.
Katie.
I need it. We need it.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Okay.
I can't take
So-
that anymore.
We're back to the same question. Go ahead. Councilmember